The night before February 14th, a young historian named Daniel sat alone in a quiet library, surrounded by dusty books and fading scrolls. Outside, the city glittered with red roses, heart-shaped balloons, and bright shop windows promising love and happiness. Couples laughed in the streets, restaurants prepared candlelit dinners, and social media overflowed with romantic messages. Yet Daniel stared at an ancient manuscript with trembling hands, because what he had just discovered was a story very few people truly knew. A story buried beneath centuries of celebration. A story not about chocolates or roses, but about courage, sacrifice, and a love so powerful that a man gave his life for it. As Daniel turned the fragile page, he whispered to himself, if people knew the real story, Valentine's Day would mean something very different. And that is where our story begins. Long before modern cities and glowing lights, in the powerful Roman Empire, there lived a kind and gentle priest named Valentine. The empire was ruled by Emperor Claudius II, a man who believed strength came from war and conquest. Claudius had a problem. Many young soldiers were refusing to join his army. They didn't want to leave their wives, their families, or the people they loved. Furious, Claudius made a shocking decision. He banned all marriages in Rome. No weddings, no promises of forever, no families built through love. His belief was simple but cruel. If men had no wives, they would become better soldiers. Across Rome, hearts broke. Couples who dreamed of building a life together were suddenly forbidden from doing so. Love became something dangerous, something hidden in whispers and shadows. But Valentine, the humble priest who served a small church near the city's edge, could not accept this injustice. To him, love was sacred. It was not something an emperor had the right to destroy. So Valentine made a choice that would change history. Late at night, while the city slept, young couples quietly knocked on the doors of his church. Candles flickered in the darkness as Valentine joined their hands together and whispered the sacred vows of marriage. There were no grand celebrations, no music or crowds. Only two hearts, a brave priest, and the promise of love stronger than fear. Word spread quietly through Rome. If you were brave enough to love, Valentine would help you. Night after night, secret weddings took place. Valentine knew the danger, but he continued anyway. He believed love was worth protecting, no matter the cost. But secrets in an empire rarely stay hidden forever. One cold evening, as Valentine finished blessing another couple, the heavy doors of the church burst open. Roman soldiers stormed inside. Their armor clanged against the stone floors as torches lit the dark room. The terrified couple ran, but Valentine did not. He stood calmly as the soldiers surrounded him. "You are under arrest by order of Emperor Claudius," the captain announced. Valentine knew this moment might come, yet his face showed no fear. As the soldiers chained his hands, he simply said, "Love cannot be outlawed." He was taken to prison, where thick stone walls separated him from the world he had tried to protect. But even there, something extraordinary began to happen. The jailer who guarded Valentine had a daughter named Julia. She was kind, intelligent, and curious about the world, but she had been blind since birth. One day, she asked her father about the prisoner everyone in the city was talking about. Eventually, she gathered the courage to visit Valentine's cell. At first, it was simply conversation. Julia asked him about the world she had never seen. Valentine described the golden glow of sunrise, the soft colors of flowers, and the beauty of the night sky, filled with stars. Through his words, Julia began to imagine a world she could not see but could finally feel. Day after day, their friendship grew. They talked about life, about hope, about faith, and about love. Valentine realized something remarkable. Even in prison, love was still alive in the connections between people. One evening, Julia asked a quiet question. "Do you believe miracles happen?" Valentine paused. Then he gently held her hands and prayed. According to legend, something incredible happened in that moment. Julia slowly opened her eyes, and for the first time in her life, she could see light. Her father was stunned. News of the miracle spread quickly, and many people began to believe Valentine was not just a priest, but a man of extraordinary faith. But Emperor Claudius was not moved by miracles. To him, Valentine was still a criminal who had defied his command. The sentence was final. Valentine would be executed on the night before his execution. Valentine asked for a piece of paper and a pen. By candlelight in his dark prison cell, he wrote a small letter to Julia. It was not long, but it carried the warmth of a friendship that had brought light into his final days. At the end of the letter, he signed it with a simple phrase, "From your Valentine." The next day, February 14th, Valentine was taken from his cell and executed outside the city walls. He died not as a rebel seeking fame, but as a man who believed love was stronger than fear, stronger than power, and stronger even than death. Years passed. Empires rose and fell. The story of the brave priest slowly spread across generations. People remembered the man who risked everything to protect love. Eventually, February 14th became a day to celebrate what Valentine had defended with his life. But over centuries, the meaning slowly changed. Flowers replaced courage. Chocolates replaced sacrifice. The story became sweeter, simpler, and easier to celebrate. Yet the true heart of Valentine's Day remains hidden beneath it all. It is the story of a man who stood against an empire for the sake of love. A man who performed secret weddings so that two hearts could stay together. A man who wrote one final message of kindness before giving his life. And perhaps the real meaning of Valentine's Day is not about perfect gifts or romantic dinners. Perhaps it is about bravery. The bravery to love when the world tells you not to. The bravery to protect the people who matter to you. And the bravery to believe that love, real, selfless love, can change the world. The next time February 14th arrives, and roses fill the streets once again, remember the quiet priest who once stood in a candlelit church, joining hands in secret while an empire tried to tear them apart. Because the real story of Valentine's Day was never about romance alone. It was about a love so powerful, it became a legend that the world would remember forever.